What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping back in with some Destiny 2 Season of the Seraph news updates. And so in the video today we're going to take a look at a bunch of content for the season. That includes an upcoming exotic quest, but also a new crafting exotic, some new secret destructibles in the season, and the various refits available for the Revision 0 exotic, but we'll also take a better look at the new dungeon exotic, as well as a preview of the armor for the upcoming dungeon, a first look at a hidden weapon for the Dawning, some new objectives and rewards for the event this year, and even some mention of Lightfall because it looks like we're going to be getting a new Lightfall trailer this week if we're lucky. Plus there are some other updates from Bungie themselves. So as always guys, I hope you find the video useful today, but without further delay, let's get into it. Before we talk about new season stuff, Destiny Bulletin tweeted that it looks like we're going to get a new Lightfall trailer dropping this Thursday during the Game Awards show. And Game Awards has typically been a time that Bungie like to drop a trailer or a reveal. And in the kind of preview for Game Awards, there was some footage of Lightfall, so it seems pretty likely that we will be getting that new trailer on Thursday, possibly a story-related thing, who knows. Either way, I'll be sure to keep you posted if that drops. Here though, a couple of updates from Bungie worth noting, and they said, we're investigating an issue where the Rose hand cannon isn't dropping for players who complete placement matches in the Crucible competitive playlist. And so I believe at the moment, that weapon isn't dropping correctly at all. Definitely a frustrating one, but worth the heads up instead of spending time in the playlist not to get the weapon dropped. Bungie will give us updates on that soon. However, they also said that they're aware of an issue where some of the seasonal artifact mods can only be equipped on the extra mod slot of Artifice armor, and they're currently investigating a fix. So some of the mods off the artifact this season are not allowed to slot into normal armor pieces for whatever reason. And so if you run into any issues with those, bear in mind you can use them with Artifice armor if you have it, but otherwise we'll have to wait for a fix from Bungie. Moving on though, let's talk about some of the content and secrets this season. And as Bungie revealed at the launch of the season, we are getting a new exotic weapon called Revision 0. And this is something that we're going to access via an exotic mission, which will open up on December 20th, but we'll actually be upgrading this weapon over a period of time. And there are both a bunch of different visuals and perks that can be unlocked for it, some of which will happen through the crafting system, which is pretty cool. So once we've had a chance to dive into the Seraph orbital platform on December 20th, a quest for the weapon will become available called the Hidden Shape. And we'll need to visit the exo frame and investigate an encrypted message before completing the arrival mission, and then we'll have to head to the Enclave on Mars and speak to a core array, and complete an additional quest called the Relic. There are also a couple of other steps to complete the Shaping Extraction quest, and the Shaping Resonant Alloys quest. I'm not sure if they are just basic relic things or whether they're additional steps as part of this quest, but ultimately at the end of this thread, we'll be able to shape the Revision 0 exotic. However, that won't be it. There are going to be additional stages. In fact, there'll be at least 4 additional stages with extra quest steps. So there are 4 quests, should you choose to accept it, part 1 through 4. And it looks like we'll have to go through the Seraph station to gain access to a bunch of data. And ultimately, each of these 4 quests will grant us a weapon schematic, which will ultimately give us the opportunity to obtain one of the catalysts for Revision 0. And if you're wondering about these weird yellow balls floating around in different various locations, they are actually security drones, and we'll be able to use the Revision 0 weapon to destroy them. So there are 10 drones on Europa, an extra 5 drones in the Heist battleground on Europa, 10 on the moon, and a bunch of others in different locations. And there are triumphs to destroy all of them. Not sure how that will actually factor into the upgrade for the weapon or anything like that, but there will be 4 different refits available for Revision 0, and each of them is a catalyst. So for example, right here, there is the Outlaw refit, and it grants the Outlaw perk where precision kills greatly increase reload time. There'll also be the Frenzy refit, and each rapid kill with the weapon progressively increases reload speed. Pressurized refit to improve stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower, and 4 Timer refit, where rapidly landing precision hits returns 2 rounds to the magazine. And so those are going to be the 4 different perk versions of the weapon, I suppose. But we should also mention that each of these will additionally come with a different visual. So version alpha of the weapon will be the most standard version right here, but then version prime will be the last version we get access to. And you can see the weapon has a few different visual upgrades, as well as tactical upgrades which change the stats and things like that on the weapon. So actually it'll be a pretty interesting process, not only unlocking it, but upgrading it and seeing the different versions of the thing over time. And of course that has the potential to take quite a few weeks, at least 4 weeks seems pretty likely if we were to get access to one of the catalysts on each different week. And so guys, give us your thoughts on that Revision 0 exotic, and whether you're looking forward to diving in on the December 20th to start working on it. Up next though, let's speak about the new dungeon, and we now know that this is called Spire of the Watcher. A spoiler alert is necessary here, as the dungeon exotic is currently hidden, but Destiny Bulletin on Twitter shared that the new exotic will be called Hierarchy of Needs, and it's actually a new exotic bow. And according to JP Deathblade, precision hits and final blows with the weapon will build a guidance ring, and opposing guardians will grant additional energy, and at full charge, hip firing will create a guidance ring. And this pairs with the trait bonus where arrows fired through a guidance ring release seeking projectiles, which do more damage based on the distance travelled. So it's almost like an updated version of Tiku's Divination, a slightly different version of a similar concept. Safe to say I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. But additionally, another spoiler alert is necessary, but it looks like we'll be getting a Tex Mechanica armor set from the dungeon, which is pretty cool. This was also shared by Destiny Bulletin, and we can see the Tex Mechanica logo on some of the armor pieces, the chest piece on the Hunter, the Bond on the Warlock, and then for the Titans, they're going to get a cowboy's hat with the Tex logo on the front, so actually some pretty cool armor that we'll be able to get access to via that dungeon. And additionally, there'll be legendary weapons, which we haven't previewed just yet. I know this is a highly anticipated bit of content, so let us know what you'd love to see in the dungeon, and I'll keep you posted on it later in the week. Next though, let's speak about the Dawning very briefly. And first up, it looks like we'll be getting a new Dawning weapon for this year. So this is the Stay Frosty Pulse Rifle. It's a stasis pulse rifle that's built in a lightweight frame. And the origin trait is called Dawning Surprise, and rapidly defeating targets awards a Dawning gift. And defeated powerful targets count as more than one. It can also get Omelon Fluid Dynamics as an origin trait. And then perks like Offhand Strike, where final blows grant additional weapon range, stability, and accuracy when firing from the hip. But also well-rounded, Tunnel Vision, Moving Target, Thresh, Killing Wind, and Encore in the first slot, with the second slot seeing Headseeker, Kill Clip, Desperado, Adaptive Munitions, Golden Tricorn, Headstone, or Under Over. And so it could be an interesting weapon there. Pretty cool that it can potentially roll Desperado as well. But additionally from the Dawning this year, there'll be a new title, which is Star Baker. So if you fancy being a Star Baker, there are a bunch of different objectives to get this one done, including completing all of the Dawning quests, baking each of the Dawning Oven cookies, but then getting combatant kills in Vanguard Ops playlists with snowballs, the same for Dares of Eternity, purchasing all of the upgrades from Eva, and quite a few other objectives, so actually could be a bit of a grind there, but some of those objectives will grant random drops of previous year's Dawning weapons. And here is the updated Dawning armor set for 2022 as well, shared via Destiny Bulletin. And of course the Dawning will be going live next week on the 13th of December. So quite a few interesting things to come this season. Personally, I'm looking forward to the dungeon. I'm looking forward to the exotic mission element. There's some cool weapons to chase as well. But I know that same old cycle of the kind of seasonal activity, seasonal vendor, upgrades and all of that, featuring the weekly quest section, is one of those slightly tired seasonal elements at the moment. So give us your thoughts about that stuff. And for today, guys, that's what we have to round up in the video. So hope this one's been interesting as always, and if it has, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. If you're new around here, be sure to get subscribed as well, and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content. But otherwise, as always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.